Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another Power Rangers Lightning Collection review. Today we're taking a look at the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger versus Mighty Morphin Putty 2-pack. Now this is a release under the Hasbro Fan Channel banner, which means that it is released to online retailers as well as some physical retailers such as GameStop. So this is available on Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad Toy Store, Dorkside Toys, Entertainment Earth, and GameStop specifically. Now, it may pop up at other places. Fan channel exclusives have been known to pop up at Best Buy, but for now, those are the places. I did originally pre-order this from Hasbro Pulse, but one of my local GameStops got the set in today, and I decided, you know what, no reason to wait 5 extra days. I'm going to go pick it up and cancel my Hasbro Pulse order. So, there is that. Now, before we begin, I want to look at the box, as usual, if good little Putty will stand. So on this side, you can see we've got the Green Ranger helmet, Fighting Spirit Green Ranger, Lightning Collection, Putty, Mighty Morphin Putty. Pretty standard stuff for the line, but this is still gorgeous packaging on many levels. Really great artwork overall. And just a very simple, here's the figures in a battle pose in the back. I really do like the simplicity of that because it gives it a nice, sleek, premium feel, especially the lightning bolt in the middle and the 2 different colors. This is the first retail release 2-pack. The other one is a Comic-Con exclusive of Zeo Gold Ranger and Armored Red Ranger that was released at San Diego Comic-Con in July. I do not have mine yet. I'm waiting for the official Hasbro Pulse stocking of it, but this is technically the second 2-pack to come out for the line. So first things first, let's start with good old Tommy. Now this Green Ranger is based, again, on Fighting Spirit, an episode of Dino Thunder that featured Tommy in a coma, reliving some visions and fighting his way back, where he had to fight his Zeo Red Ranger, the Mighty Morphin White Ranger, and the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger to fight his way back to waking up again. And it's called Fighting Spirit. It was a very classic episode. There was also like some, comedy stuff, and the comedy duo of Devin and Cassidy actually had like a great plot about believing in the Power Rangers, which was pretty cool. And the Rangers had to fight without their powers. So it's actually a really great episode overall. The thing that most people do remember, of course, is the scenes with Tommy in his coma. Now, there was one other thing they remember, and that we'll talk about in a minute. First up, this Green Ranger is the first Green Ranger for the Lightning Collection, but not the first Green Ranger in history. That being said, his unmasked head is the same as the Mighty Morphin White from the first wave of the Lightning Collection retail line. As you can see here, they are the same head. While the paint application may be slightly different due to the nature of face printing technology, I think it looks a bit nicer here. Here he has a lot of glossy shine to it, but here it's more of a natural tone. So they might already be improving, and I think that's kind of the case. It's new technology for Hasbro in general, but they are starting to improve on that. Personally, I find the head to be a little small, but that's just my personal opinion. So as you can see side by side, it's the same head, but, different kind of applications. So that's pretty good. I think in general, if we were going to see a Mighty Morphin Green released at retail, I'll probably have a Tommy head with a shorter haircut. But for now, let's get this out of the way. This isn't really Fighting Spirit specific. This is just kind of, I think, included because they had the tooling and they decided to go for it. Now, of course, let's talk about the big old striped elephant in the room. That is the silver striped helmet on the Green Ranger. First up, this is a paint error. The sides of the paint just didn't get aligned on the helmet. That's supposed to not be there. It's supposed to run one continuous white line. I'm going to touch that up with paint later, but that is a QC error. Something to keep an eye out when you do go to pick one up. In general, there is some paint that's a little bit softer in places than others. You can see the black line is definitely there around the dragon shield, but it is a little light here, and some stuff up here. This is the nature of having more paint on a figure means there's more chance for paint errors, and these are produced on a mass production scale, so not every figure is going to be perfect. But this is a little bit sloppy on the helmet overall. That being said, with it being the Green Ranger Fighting Spirit helmet with the silver stripe, there's that. Now, there's no real reason why the silver stripe ever happened. From what we know, they had to remake a lot of costumes for the episode or got whatever they could. So someone decided, oh, he must have a silver stripe on his helmet. And that's what's represented here. No, I do not think this is the last Mighty Morphin Green we're getting. This is like one of the most popular Rangers of all time to casual audiences. I don't think this is the last one we're going to get. Now, of course, Hasbro took it a step further. While other companies have done silver striped Green Ranger helmet, very few have gone this far. In the episode itself, again, probably just because of the props they had available, The Morpher was the silver Morpher, but with a dragon coin, and the holster was on the wrong side, and it was white instead of black. So they actually replicate that here, which is really awesome, because this is the most accurate Fighting Spirit Green Ranger I think we've gotten. In general, a lot of parts are very similar, like Mighty Morphin White and some of the other Lightning Collection, but they do have some new things. A lot of this is pulled from Armored Red Ranger, since he was the first with the Dragon Shield, but there's a lot of coolness here. Overall, paint is done pretty well for this release. Now, the shield is a separate piece. It's not removable, but as you can see, they went as far to have all the diamonds on the chest. So, good job, Hasbro. Articulation-wise, shoulders move out. They have a bicep swivel. There is a double jointed elbow that goes pretty dang far. Wrist swivel, wrist pivots, all ratcheted. The forward and back butterfly shoulder joints, which are painted white so they don't break up the look. Fantastic. Head is left, right, up, down. Not so much side to side, but is a little bit there. Torso ball joint moves around pretty freely. Crunches forward and crunches backwards. So you get that. And it's a really nice clean look. I think it's like, yeah, okay, this is the most awkward pose, but it still looks clean. The belt is a separate piece, but it does have a groove to stay in place. And then you got hips that move out, not as far out as I thought they would go. Then forward, and then thighs, and double jointed knees, which are full extenders. Boot swivel, forward pivot, upward pivot, side to side. So, really nice. Now let's get to his accessories, because what's the point of articulation without accessories? First up, he does have the Dragon Dagger. This is, of course, the standard Dragon Dagger, as we've seen before. It's not got every single little detail painted, but a lot of them are. Mine is a little bit extra gold paint there. But, you know, the buttons are painted. Really nice work overall. And that does fit in the holster, as well as letting him hold it. And the other bonus is kind of a nice little bonus weapon, which I'm not sure will be the retail Mighty Morphin Green or not. But this is, of course, the Sword of Darkness featured in the Green with Evil storyline. So this is really nice. Nicely painted. The tassel, of course, is just solid plastic, but looks really cool. He does come with an assortment of hands. So first up, this hand is kind of designed to hold the Sword of Darkness, which it does really well. It's a really tight grip. Really nice. I think the sword looks the proper size. I feel like it's been too big on the figure art and the Legacy release, I think. Getting the hands out, which are, you know, nice and sturdy, but can be difficult to use. You also get a flat palm. This kind of thing like works better with the Sword of Darkness to kind of get like that. Sort of Tommy ready to attack with the Evil Green Ranger look, which is pretty cool. I do like that a lot. It looks pretty nice. The other hand is specifically designed for the Dragon Dagger for a specific pose. The Dragon Dagger can be held in this hand. However, if you want to do the playing pose, that's what this hand is for. So we'll get that in here. So you got that. We'll get his hand sorted here. We're just going to leave this on here. There's no specific like opposite playing hand, but that's something that I think I really liked on the Lightning, was that it did have, or the Legacy version, you had a specific playing hand. But you can get this into a pretty good position to have him play the Dragon Dagger. You just kind of have him cover that. They've used the fist in promotional images, so let's do that instead. And we'll get that in there. So that way it kind of looks like he's holding it like that. So you get kind of your Dragon Dagger flute playing action, so you can summon the Dragon Zord or summon attacks. Speaking of attacks, just like with a lot of Lightning Collection releases, we of course have a effect piece. Now this effect piece itself is quite large. It's probably the largest one I've seen. It's not a reuse of the Dino Charge Red Ranger, which I thought it was from initial pictures, but get this sliding in here. You can kind of get the Sword of Darkness wrapped in it, and it looks pretty dang cool overall. You can do it better than I've done it here, but, you know, giant Sword of Lightning. But I also found that, you know, if you want to recreate like his Dragon Dagger using lightning with a little support, you probably could do something like that. So that's pretty cool. Nice multi-purpose. But overall, I think for this one, I'm going to really want to have kind of a traditional Dragon Dagger pose, just because it is the Fighting Spirit version. Alright, so let's talk about the thing that a lot of people really want from this pack, and that is the Putty. Just like with Mighty Morphin Green there, I don't think this is the first, this is the first time we've seen it. I don't think it's going to be the last time. The Putty is quite robust because you can get putties, super putties, you have the Japanese suit, you have the American suit, you have Z putties. There's going to be a lot of putty variants out there. I think this is just kind of like, this 2-pack feels like a little bit of a, nostalgia holiday cash grab-y. Not necessarily cash grab, because this is a really well done set. This is kind of like a nostalgia pack for the holiday season, is kind of what I feel like. That's the vibe I get, at least. Putty's very nice. Very basic suit design overall. This is an issue that's happened with a few different Hasbro figures, not just Power Rangers, and that's where the boot rotation has caused a separation. This happened on my Marvel Legends Sabretooth, actually. And I think another figure. It was another big figure, so this is the first time this has happened on a smaller one. But it's something to keep an eye out for. Something's warped. There's ways to heat this up, pop it off, and get it back on. I haven't done that yet because I did want to show how I got the figure. Other than that, the paint is excellently done. This head sculpt is awesome. I love it. It's perfect putty to me. He's also got the really big fist. This is supposed to be the standard putty. I think the super putty would be good for retail as well. There's all kinds of different things with different putties. There's a whole history there that we're not going to get into right now. You can see he's got the standard kind of boots that a lot of Rangers have, so that's pretty cool. It's very, very nicely accurate, and I do like, again, clothing folds. That's a thing this line does a lot, which is pretty awesome. So articulation on him, basically the same as the Green Ranger. I'll just kind of float through it. His shoulders don't go as far forward, I think, but, you get what you get. There's no articulation in the wrists. These rotate, but they're very hard to move, so we'll get into that. Torso moves pretty good. Forward, back, hip. Pretty far. Actually, the hip goes farther than the Green Ranger, ironically. Double joint knee, boot swivel. Even with that, it still moves. Ankle, ankle. So let's talk about his accessories. So of course we've got the open hand and the holding hand for whatever you need it for. But if you give this a twist, I suggest holding from here so you don't strain the elbow joint. Pop that off. We've got a stone hand that has a giant stone ball to hit things with. And then pop the other one off, and we get a sword. And the sword gets its own little effect piece, which looks so much better than the Saba effect, where it was like clinging off the sword. This kind of looks like he's slamming into something, and it's a hit. So pretty cool. Overall, I'd say the putty is definitely my favorite part of this set because it is our first putty. But if this is going to be like our first, putty in a 2-pack, that just says to me that like we're going to get more. Like, for example, like Hasbro Stormtroopers, they make a lot of Stormtroopers. The first Stormtrooper was done at retail, but they've had other variants in multi-packs that have come out again because I know people want to army build these things. So I wouldn't go ahead and be buying like a ton of putty packs. I don't think this is going to be our only release. As long as this line continues at a healthy rate, this should be pretty good at sustaining itself so that we can get a normal retail putty release. And if those are incredibly popular, they might even do solid pack cases, so there's more putties out in the market. But overall, I really do like the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger and putty 2-pack. I'm having a lot of fun posing them around. Overall, this is not something that I think is necessary for a collection, because these are both figures that I feel like are going to get variants later. But if you do want to get a putty this early in the line, if you do want to get a version of Mighty Morphin Green this early, or you do want the Fighting Spirit version, you definitely have that option. I definitely think that, Bandai put out a lot of these, the Legacy Collection Mighty Morphin Greens, so it's kind of nice that Hasbro's first one is a different variant. And it's one that's now more available than it was before, as I think Bandai's previous ones were Comic-Con or Toys R Us exclusive, I don't remember exactly. But overall, really like this pack, definitely recommend it. It does retail for $39.99, which is, the price of 2 normal Lightning Collection figures, so that makes a lot of sense. And like I said, check your online retailers. Hasbro Pulse and GameStop are going to be your best bets to find this. So overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit calmer of a video than I usually do, just because it is kind of, chatting about a couple figures. If you have any questions about the release, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what 2-packs you want to see in the future. As we know, there is a Lost Galaxy Red and Psycho Red pack on the way, thanks to a leak from Best Buy, so there's a lot of cool stuff I think happening with this line, and the more variety we get and the less Mighty Morphin is definitely healthy for everyone. But for those people that do love Mighty Morphin, or those people that want a cool Ranger variant and a really awesome foot soldier, this is definitely the pack to get. So be sure to subscribe to keep up with future videos. I should be getting Wave 2 shortly after they stock on Hasbro Pulse, which is around the 12th, so stay tuned for that, as I'm very excited to review those. And like I said, I should be getting the Comic-Con pack later in the month. Also hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And be sure to follow me on social media at the links at the end of the video, and check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for all of your Power Rangers Lightning Collection news and more. And our title card artist, Ryan Darklaw643 on Twitter at Darklaw643. He does art commissions. Go check him out. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.